I am Stephanie D. Balmedina, and I will be presenting the speaking fluency of the grade 8 students using task-based learning activities basis for speaking enhancement program. The problem and its background. Speaking is one of the essential elements of communication in English as foreign language teaching. Certainly, it is an aspect which needs extraordinary attentions and instructions. It should be developed and enhanced as a means of effective communication. It is also regarded as one of the most difficult aspects of language learning. Students' inattention and deficiencies in different prosodic features are two of the major problems that the junior high school of Bungabong Technical and Vocational High School are experiencing every quarter. In this study, task-based learning activities are used to stimulate real communications of the students in the target language. This is the result of the least mastered competency report in English every quarter of Bungabong Technical and Vocational High School, where the number of learners who achieve the given competencies are at low mastery level, 15 to 34%. They have deficiency in learning speaking English, especially in fluency, pronunciation, stress, vocabulary, and intonation aspects, and cultural background of the language. These indicators in speaking are considered in the experimentation due to its low performance rate. Theoretical and Conceptual Framework. This study was supported by the theories of Delheim's, Constructivist Theory of Learning by Piaget, Social Cognition Theory by Vygotsky, Nativist Theory of Noam Chomsky, Skinner's Operant Conditioning, Love-Situated Learning Theory, and Task-Based Learning Theory by Prabhu, which one way or another would help in providing the validity of the content of this research work. Based on the theoretical discussion, this model shows the conceptual framework. The figure shows the IPO model. As shown in the figure, the first frame refers to the input of the study, which contains the level of speaking fluency of the grade 8 students using task-based learning in terms of stress, intonation, pronunciation, and vocabulary. The second frame refers to the process, which includes the oral presentation of activities using rubrics in assessing speaking fluency in terms of stress, intonation, pronunciation, and vocabulary, and descriptive evaluative method using frequency, percentage, and arithmetic mean to interpret the data. The third frame refers to the output of the study, which is the proposed speaking enhancement program to grade 8 students of BTVHS. This chapter presents the statistical tool that was used in analyzing and interpreting the data pertaining to the variables of the study. Research methodology. Research design. This study employed descriptive evaluative method. Respondents of the study. The respondents of the study are 40 grade 8 students who are currently enrolled in Bungabong Technical and Vocational High School and who are taking up speaking prosodic features that are used in the study. Sampling technique. The study employed total population sampling technique in order to examine the entire population with a small size that have a particular set of characteristics. As you can see in the table A, it shows the distribution of grade 8 students by section. Name of section, Aventurian, Bixbyte, with a population of 24 and 16 and a total of 40. The main tool used in gathering the primary data of this study are the 5-point Likert scale rubric in assessing the level of speaking fluency of the grade 8 students in English and the timeline of speaking activities in terms of individual, pair, and group. This timetable presents the distribution of activities that was conducted for 7 days. It contains activities, objectives, competencies, and strategies. To achieve the validity of the instrument, the researchers sought the 3 expertise in the field. The 3 experts, such as the school head, the 2 master teachers in English, who were trained and gained experience, validated the research instrument. Their comments and suggestions are also incorporated in the validation sheet. Scoring and quantification of data. To measure the performance of the grade 8 students and the level of speaking fluency, the study used the Likert's 5-point scale rubrics. The numerical scale, statistical limits, and verbal descriptions are presented on the table. Data gathering procedure. First, a letter of request duly signed by the Dean of the Graduate Studies of Mindoro State College of Agriculture and Technology was forwarded to the school head of Bungabong Technical and Vocational High School to conduct the study. Since the study will not affect any other subject schedule and it will only be done in the English subject schedule, therefore, the division superintendent approval was no longer needed. Upon approval of the school head, it was conducted to the 40 grade 8 students who are the respondents of the study. Indicators were explained first before the administration to evaluate the effectivity of the instruction. For the data gathering performance of the students, the design and validated daily specification of activities were followed. Procedures were fully explained before the conduct of the activities and materials were properly disseminated. There were prepared lesson plans employed within the teaching of the employed speaking activities. When the administration is through, all scores were manually tabulated in a columnar sheet. These were grouped and sorted out and presented in tables. Microsoft Excel are used in order to process all the data. After all the results were gathered, a proposed speaking intervention program was developed as a form of intervention to address the lowest and weakest areas of accomplishments of the students in their speaking fluency. These were anchored in their grade level competencies as well as the expected outcome to be achieved. Statistical treatment of data. Data gathered was all tabulated and treated using frequency, percentage, and arithmetic mean. Frequency is used in order to show the number of times a data value occurs, and the percentage is used to create a contingency table for the frequency distribution and represent the collected data for better understanding. And arithmetic mean, this was used to determine the level of performance in speaking fluency of grade 8 students. Results and discussion. This chapter presents the analysis and interpretation of data obtained from the observation of speaking fluency of grade 8 students using task-based learning activities in terms of individual, pair, and group performance. Each group of data was analyzed and interpreted based on the problems raised in the study with corresponding tables for clear presentation of the result. For the Table 1, it shows the mean scores on the level of speaking fluency of grade 8 students in individual performance using task-based learning activities. To view the data statistically, the individual performance did not seem to be effective in this setting, conditions, and with these participants. One factor might be that they didn't have enough opportunity to have a verbal exchange with each other, which means that the learner-to-learner interaction were not emphasized. It has been noted that most of the students had encountered difficulty in terms of pronunciation and vocabulary as seen on the table, for their descriptive rating falls on the fairly satisfactory level. Table 2. It shows the mean scores and the level of speaking fluency of the grade 8 students in pair performance using task-based learning activities. As shown in the table, results of pair performance showed a significant improvement on the students' speaking fluency based on the computed mean rating per indicator compared to individual performance. The pairing of the participants was based on their ability heterogeneously. Results further revealed that the students performed low mastery level in vocabulary. It indicates that whether in pairs or individual, the students cannot express what they want to say, for they have no idea what correct or proper words to express. Table 3. It shows the mean scores and the level of speaking fluency of the grade 8 students in group performance using task-based learning activities. The results obtained from the data analysis of the third table provide sufficient evidence that group performance turned out to have improved the speaking fluency of the participants. Group work seemed to have had characteristics of its own that some scholars have strongly emphasized. Referring to the data related to the results of this group, one can see that the indicator showed a significant improvement when in group. However, pronunciation and vocabulary were still the weakest points. In comparison with the first two conducted activities, pronunciation result when in group developed a good pronunciation with minimal error, but still doesn't mean that they sounded like a native speaker. In addition, vocabulary in group showed more improvement and able to think creatively about how to use English to achieve the goal. Nonetheless, there are still students who had inadequate vocabulary words to express their ideas properly. Proposed module formulated by the researcher based on the result of the study. Based on the findings of the study, the proposed speaking enhancement program is hereby presented to strengthen the lowest and weakest areas of accomplishments of the grade 8 students in speaking fluency in English. They were anchored on the learning competencies in their grade level, implementable strategies, and learning activities students to accomplish, resources needed, time frame, and expected outcome to be achieved. Conclusions and recommendation. Taking the results of the data analysis with the probable reasons into consideration, one can come up with the illuminating importance of group performance in developing the speaking fluency of the grade 8 students. Meanwhile, individual work should not be undermined. Nevertheless, the results of this research did not give solid grounds to advocate the effectiveness of individual performance on promoting grade 8 students' speaking fluency. It did not seem to be effective on this setting, condition, and with these participants. It could probably count positive in another language setting. However, it can be concluded that individual performance is not a very significant factor in improving speaking fluency of the grade 8 students, and the results obtained from individual performance in this research may not be generalized to any other language settings and any other language element. In sum, pair performance and group performance can be regarded as two positive strategies in developing speaking fluency of the grade 8 students. Nonetheless, the group performance outperformed the two by using interaction as a dominant factor in teamwork, affecting the results of this group as they came up with more verbal language, hence resulting in improving their speaking fluency. It is recommended that the teachers incorporate various competencies in certain lessons to enhance and improve students' weaknesses in speaking, and from there, they could formulate and think of some drills suited for them and that will enhance those weaknesses. Students' knowledge of the topic affects the way they deliver the message, and unconsciously use of repetitious words or fillers that affects their performance speaking, which requires a need to develop an intervention plan to further enhance the students' performance in speaking by designing appropriate module or program with varied activities. And this is the speaking fluency of the grade 8 students using task-based learning activities basis for a speaking enhancement program. Thank you for listening.